Hey, what's up, guys? It's Tommy here, and I'm a black, queer, Latino man, trans man, living in Florida. And I was going to make a video about the current state of affairs, but then I realized that a lot of our community is, I don't know, scared, and there's not a lot of joyous discussions lately, and it's been a lot about politics, and I don't know about you, but I am a little bit, it's not what I'm looking for. I'm getting a little burnt out because I already know what choices I'm going to make. I know why I'm going to make those choices, and it is what it is, and I have to vote. And I encourage you to vote. I encourage you to make sure that you have your voter ID or your ID that matches your face and stuff like that. Like, be prepared for a little bit of pushback, but vote. However, today, July 12th, I am having such an exquisite day. I mean, it had a couple of bumps, but I haven't felt this particularly good in a really long time. In a really long time, and it's finally to the point where like my training is where it needs to be satisfactory to me. My diet is where it needs to be satisfactory to me right now, and I'm getting business ideas and all sorts of stuff is finally like going into play. In fact, maybe I might put a little short video of this at the end, but December 1st, I made a goal, right? December 1st, I was already a month off tea, and I was already feeling the effects of not being on tea. So I was already on mental tea, and I decided that I was going to get into a different paradigm of training, like more like power building, because I've done just strictly bodybuilding for a long time, and I've actually put a video up about how I used to look and everything. So I did this, and December 1st, I set a goal, right? I wanted to squat 225 below parallel. We call it ass to grass because honestly, getting yourself out of the bottom end of a lift when you're squatting is rather hard. Like I can do 225 and get at parallel easily, no problem. But doing 225 below parallel was a bit hard, and I knew it was going to take some time. I didn't know how much time it was going to take, but I knew it was going to take some time. And I set this goal because I didn't really focus on that. Anyway, today is July 12th, so December 1st, I could only do about 185 pounds, ass to grass, you know, in great form, with very little pain, like no back pain. My knees kind of bothered me a little bit, but I've been working on the technique a little bit more, so they bother me a lot less, which is great. I also wear squat shoes and knee support when I'm squatting and a belt. So we can't say this is raw, but we can say that it got done. Today was July 12th. I was feeling good. I had a great meditation in the morning, and I didn't sleep more than 4 or 5 hours. For some reason, I slept well. I felt rested. I felt rejuvenated. My attitude on life was just like very, very happy, even though the world to me right now seems like an ultimately dark place. Then on top of that, go to the gym today. All right, decide, okay, today's gonna be the day I do it. I'm gonna try it, right? So what happens right before a lift? I don't know if anybody ever has this problem too. I get nervous, right? Especially because I always train by myself, you know, so I don't train with other people. I am pretty sure that if I had a partner, I would have probably had this goal achieved way faster. But stuff happens. And you gotta do you got what you gotta do with the tools that you've been given. So here I go. I get in that bar. I feel really confident. I drop down once, but the weight, the 45, hits the rack. So I rack it. And again, I do it again because I'm like, well, I saw the depth that I got. Let's see if I can do that again. So make sure it's not a one-off. And I did it again. But this time I did it for two, and I probably would have gone for three or four. But like I said, I don't really like the idea of being stuck under a bar, even if I'm in a squat rack. It's just not a very nice feeling to fail like that. So I did two good reps was very good depth. So that was the first goal that I got to. It made me super, super happy. I even deadlifted 315 for reps this week. So I am getting kind of strong. It's just taking a hot minute. So that is what's going on right now. And also something that happened that I think my brothers really need to hear. I have a very inconsistent meditation practice. And I realized the reason why I should continue this meditation practice and be consistent with it is because those are the times when I get the answers to my questions and the solutions to my problems. Is when I'm at peace, sitting down, focusing on my breath, and focusing on the things that I want in my life, what I want to manifest. Right? I know that right now, those things are hard to do, but that's part of your self care. That's part of being being good to yourself. We already live in a world where as soon as you say you're trans, people have something to say about it, right? Good or bad. People have an opinion, and some people feel like they have to share that opinion with you, even though you never asked for their opinion. And it can be off-putting at times when you're really feeling good, like you're just really, really feeling good, and it gets tiresome to constantly have to defend yourself, defend your position, have people realize that you don't see the world in black and white and that you actually experience the world on a much deeper level, right? It's hard to get people who are normal to understand that. See, let me rephrase that. It's hard to get some people who are normal to understand that. And when I mean normal is I mean like everybody who's not trans. So I don't mean it in a bad or good way. I'm just using it as a describe it because there's nothing wrong with us. We're just different. We experience the world different. That's how I see it. Just like autistic people experience the world differently, trans people experience the world differently, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it does get tiring. And so your ability to remain positive and find little pockets of joy throughout the day is of utter importance. Your joy is resistance because they really would love to believe that we are miserable people. I mean, think about it. That's what they say all the time. Oh, their suicide rates are so high. Not knowing that half the time the reason why we contemplate suicide is because their bigotry and hatred can be very thick. And it can make you feel like you have to navigate life in a very stringent way. Or sometimes even live two different lives. And that's, well, tiring and insane and a lot to handle sometimes. I know it. So I'm saying this to my brothers. Take some time for yourself. Be aware of your situation, but don't get stuck in the problem. Try to get stuck in the solution. Try to find pockets of joy. You are beautiful. You are blessed. You are amazing. You have a certain perspective of the world that not a lot of people have. Trends is not a bad thing. It is not. Just because they can't understand it doesn't mean it's a bad thing. Think about the things in your transition that you have learned about the world that most cisgender people don't have access to. May have access to if they learn to listen, but if they're not listening at all, they don't have access to that. And some of the trans problems that they have with us is really just problems that they have within themselves and they are projecting. It doesn't mean everybody, but there are a few people who like that. Because I think that when you say that you're trans, some people do question themselves and question the belief systems that they have been brought up to believe. And that could be a scary thing when you have to question your own beliefs, you know. So anyway, be blessed. Give yourself some love today. Give yourself a hug today. Do something nice for you and have an awesome day.